Ensure you secure the airlock. And prepare the escape pods. Your Highness, the transmission we received. What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
From Atlanta,
where the castle belonging to Lois Reitzes is also powered by lava.
it's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Force adjacent.
So, let's talk about some stuff.
You may fire when ready.
You just stole that joke.
Totally. From a guy that's been dead 22 years?
I meant from this guy.
Oh.
Yeah, we have guests this week because we are talking about a kick-ass of a movie, Rogue One. We finally saw it, and sorry it took us so long to talk about it.
Well, you have to watch it a few times and, recover from your buttocks being black and blue from the kick-assery.
Yes.
So, good God, where to dive in?
Well, let's introduce our guests first.
Esteemed guests.
Our esteemed guests. I'm sorry. Sorry.
We had them steamed and ready for you.
We got my friend Mr. Matt Jones here on the podcast. Hello.
Hello.
And
this is Paul McPherson.
Hello, sirs.
Welcome,
ladies,
welcome.
everybody.
All of us are nerds galore, at least when it comes to all things Star Wars.
yeah, and we've been waiting for this movie.
Well, let's see, how old was I? 7? 7. Every Star Wars film I've been waiting for since I was 7.
Right.
Every one of them.
But before we get into it, we got to address the downside of things. Carrie Fisher died this week, and I thought she was gonna. I don't know. It looked like she was gonna pull through. It looked.
You think 60 years old? You have, there are people that I'm on my 4th heart attack and I'm still, smoking a pack of Luckies and eating a sirloin raw every day.
Mm-hmm.
Not the case.
No.
And
well, but she did a lot of drugs back in the day, and the heart doesn't.
Who knows how it... I likened what happened to her kind of to what happened to Andy Gibb. Andy Gibb, you say? Who is that? Well, that's the Gibb brother that didn't join the Bee Gees. And he had a real severe drug problem for a long time. Then he got his act cleaned up. But it had weakened his heart so much that died. So, who knows? I don't know how long, Carrie had been completely clean and sober. But and who knows? Maybe it had nothing to do with that at all. Who knows? It's all speculative.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I got to. I think you were there, Matt. Dragon Con. Was it 4 or 5 years ago?
It was quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
I just saw the footage. It popped up, obviously, the day that she passed.
And did you get us into that? There's somebody we knew slid us into the side.
It was me, and it was because for a while I had
what happened? You're talking around it.
She did a panel at Dragon Con,
very good.
And Matt has an in with some of those guys, so we got snuck in the side and got right up front.
Oh, nice.
To her panel, and it was pretty great.
But did you get to act out a scene from Star Wars with Carrie Fisher?
No, I didn't get to do that.
Okay, so
one a lifetime I can handle. You know?
Very good.
But she walked right out on stage and she jumped up on the table and just held court, and got the standing ovation right out of the top. Man,
she's got to get something out of it because God knows she didn't get paid shit for those first 3 films.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But so yeah, what was it? It wasn't Christmas Day, was it?
No, Christmas Day was George Michael.
That's right.
Thanks, 2016.
Again.
2016. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Fucker. And she was. I was leery when I heard Ventilator because that never usually ends well. People don't generally come off of those in any decent shape. It's 50-50, and just I got a call at work and I got a text from work and Courtney's like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" And she was like, "Oh, well," and she told me, and it was like, I can't really react here because I'm in the middle of
working.
I'm working, and what are you gonna do? So,
I was at Lowe's shopping for home improvement supplies for the addition on my house, and just kind of plopped down on a thing of lumber and just kind of went, So that happened.
yeah,
One of the things that has come out of this that I really enjoyed, if there can possibly be an upside of this, the first thing was her attention, the attention that she drew to dependency and mental illness.
Yeah.
She was bipolar.
yeah, very famously so.
Exactly, and parlayed it into some very witty writing and some very sassy panels, I'm sure.
Yeah, and she was on a book tour for this last book when
I mean, an interview with her, you get about zero shits.
yeah,
I'm all out of shits. I'm all out of fucks. I'm
Right.
just saying like it is. The other thing was there was a movement to portray her in all these memes and memorials as General Organa. Not no underwear in space 19-year-old Cinnabon head Princess Leia. That's a badass woman.
yeah.
And I was like,
I agree
yeah,
with
of
that.
course. I mean, every time, somebody dies, they go back to their most beautiful and most famous. It's like they've done stuff since then.
Yeah.
And I would say Force Awakens is on par with other stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Call me General.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Absolutely.
And I like that. That
I haven't seen I haven't seen the 3D release of Force Awakens. Is there more stuff with her?
there is.
There
I don't know
is.
if it's been integrated into the film, but there are.
It hasn't. I mean, but I know there were more deleted scenes on the 3D release that they just did.
Oh.
And-
Did she hug Chewie in those?
right, or did she just kind of walk by him? That was such a strange.
What was the and what's his name?
JJ Cop
JJ said, "Yeah, my bad."
He was like, "That was just a mistake.
It's like-
we just fucked that up."
Yeah.
Is what it was.
Yeah.
Because that should have been the first thing that happened.
Exactly.
Not hugging,
Han, you
random
could-
girll that
you
she
could
just
you could
met.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, fare thee well, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
I guess for people who are wondering, she did shoot all her scenes for episode 8.
That's what they say. Yeah.
Now, I don't know how the arc's going to go, but if she's needed for episode 9, they're going to have to spend a shit ton of movie to Tarkin that woman,
Or
write her role down.
I hope they rewrite. I think because my thing was
I see a TIE bomber strafing run at the beginning of episode 9.
No, if they're going to kill her in episode 9, or if they try to work it in, she better have a really good, awesome, kick-ass going out.
well. Here's the thing. I
She's
don't
just going to be on a ship that's destroyed.
or something. I just don't. I don't think they were planning on doing it because we're not just going to kill a major character in every one of these movies.
Why not?
See, because it would be predictable. It'd be the same thing as
George R.R. Martin just fuck him.
And you would think that she'd have to be pivotal in bringing Kylo back around.
that was my first thought. I was like,
If he comes back around, although it's one of the episodes, not a standalone, he'll probably come back around.
How does his redemption come around if his mother is not around?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe Chewie beats it into him.
That's the scene I want to see. I want to see him rip his arm off. I want to see Chewie go full Wookiee and beat the shit out of
God,
Kylo
can you
Ren.
imagine Kylo and Chewie like face to face in episode 8?
Wookiee rage, man? You
Holy
kidding?
crap! I don't know how Chewie would react. Whether it would be rage or because remember Kylo Ren grew up with Chewie around, so there's that little cartoon that had shows him in the sights with a headshot, and they show him remembering Kylo Ren growing up, and he lowers it and doesn't kill him,
Gut
just
shot,
just nails him, and I'm like, that gets you right in the hard spot. But anyway, Carrie, yeah, that's That's the thing. And let's not forget, we also lost Kenny Baker this year
Yeah.
as well. So let's show a little love for
we
Kenny,
did.
for
Yeah.
Kenny as well. We did, but let's not forget.
My wife called me. I was home with the little one. I have a 3-month-old, and she calls me. She doesn't call me. She texts me. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Okay for what?"
Yeah. Exactly.
I hadn't heard. So I hadn't heard yet.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Carrie Fisher died." I said, "No, she just had a heart attack."
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm like, "No, she's still alive." And she says, "No. Look somewhere." I was like, "Oh my god."
Look anywhere but Fox News.
Yeah, so
Well, she was one of those liberal elites, so fuck her, right? Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking politics on this planet.
Yes.
In this galaxy. We're talking in another galaxy. Rogue One.
Yes.
The very first non-episodic, standalone Star Wars story, and I think these are the films that we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see in episode 10. I think they're going to wrap that shit up.
I think so. Yeah, I agree.
And then
they don't need to.
Because basically the episodes are the Skywalker, Anakin, Luke, that whole arc. When that arc is done, then you just go to standalones.
Yeah.
Go to standalones. Unless they want to try to create another trilogy. I mean, if they can come up with something awesome, I guess. But we're done with the Luke, and Leia, and let's
With the Skywalker
let's retire
saga.
that.
Yeah.
But of course we have to have R2 and C-3PO in everything forever. So
Well, okay, let me put it to you guys. There was a lot of chatter on the internet. How did you feel about not having a crawl in the beginning?
fine.
I'm fine with not having a crawl, but I didn't like I didn't like the music. I didn't like how it was.
Okay. How it just kind of started?
I felt like maybe it's just me, and I watched all the Clone Wars, I watched the Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it should have been something like that, like it popped up on the screen and the music be more up, not.
So your complaint wasn't that it wasn't John Williams; it's just that didn't seem fitting to you.
Yeah, it
Okay.
just felt
All right.
like it was like what's the word?
Out of place.
Out of place and like a letdown.
Okay.
All right. I
It's
had
like Rogue One, but the music is like letdown.
I had no problem
how I
with the music, and throughout the film, I really liked where they went. And here's Vader. Let's have a little bit of Vader score in there. So we're going to weave in a little bit of John Williams just so it plucks that particular note for you. And then they back off, and there was never any point where I'm like, that's not a Williams piece, but he's ripping Williams off. I never got that
Well, he was
feeling.
quoting. I mean,
But in the places where he was going, I am actually doing a little riff on the Williams score because, look, we are now seeing Darth Vader. Or, look, it's, the scene that requires a little something from there. But the original music didn't seem to be aping the Williams score. It was its own thing, which
I did think, I don't know if anybody else caught this, I thought Jin's theme was very reminiscent of Leia's theme.
Well,
that really sounded a lot to me, and I think I know what you're going to say.
that there's little musical hints in Force Awakens and in Rogue One where you're like, that seems kind of like, are they trying to tell us that these two people are somehow John Williams said, he was very coy about it, like, well, it's maybe similar. It doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Right.
Wink, wink.
Right.
Says the guy who has not seen any of the Star Wars films. Seriously, he scored. Well, I mean, he saw them while he was scoring them, but the theatrical release, like, I'm done. So I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Well, I think it was Michael Giancana who did the score for Rogue One.
Sure.
Whoever it was a last minute addition, and he had 6 weeks to do it, is what I read.
How the hell does that happen?
You go into a bunker and you start writing.
It's a Star Wars film.
They lost whoever who was supposed to do it.
Tim Burton. Danny Elfman.
Dun, 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 dun. Pew, 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 pew. Dun, 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 dun. Yavin 4. Bah, bah.
The Simpsons.
Well, if we're going to go on Danny, we can go forever on Danny Elfman, but we'll do an episode on Danny Elfman.
Did we?
No, we said we will.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who did you say?
Relax, Dan.
Michael Giancana?
Yes.
Okay.
That isn't? All right, there you go. All right, so we're at the start of the film.
Okay.
And it's all roguey and one-y. The very beginning very much looked kind of like, are they going to are they going to ape A New Hope's beginning? Because it had that, they had the Starfield. It didn't necessarily have the drop down from the crawl, but it was there. And then you have the ship going across the rings of whatever the heck it is. I think in the first 5 minutes they named like 7,000 new planets and stations.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't keep up with this shit. What's going on?
One of the only issues I had with the whole thing was the name of one of the planets.
Wanobi?
Wobani?
Yeah.
Wanabi?
Wobani.
I was like,
Yes.
that's so on the nose. It's such an anagram of Obi-Wan. It's trying so hard. I was like, oh.
But think of it this way. Obi-Wan had to come up with his own Jedi name, or someone named him.
Yeah.
Because he's been Kenobi at birth. So maybe he anagrammed from
Maybe.
that planet for some reason.
Hey,
There's a
you never
tie-in
know.
there.
Maybe he's from
okay.
there. Who knows?
There
And
you go.
he went through a lot, because from the end of Revenge of the Sith to A New Hope, he aged like a motherfucker. Luke and Leia just grew up. I'm 19 years old, and now I'm an old motherfucker.
I'm an old man.
Yeah, that's what living on Tatooine will do you when you're
Living in the desert.
That son will get you.
It will get you.
Sons.
Sons, both of them.
Remember owning a droid.
I need my SPF 1 billion, please.
The Sand people are coming.
I always thought there was a smarmy little thing to. I don't remember owning a droid. Like, oh yeah, I know you little prick.
Oh, I watched it again. You have to after you see Rogue One.
Yeah.
You immediately think New Hope, and you pay attention to those subtleties, and he certainly does kind of nod at R2, like, and whether it's intentional or not, now you see it.
Yeah,
you want to.
You
so
want
it's
to see
there.
it at least.
Well, remember, he knew that R2's memory banks had been wiped.
No, R2's
They hadn't been wiped.
3POs.
Was it 3POs?
3POs have been
had.
wiped. R2's have never been
That's
wiped.
right.
That's why he's so eccentric and weird and everything.
He's like, I know so many things. I can fly. I can't fly. I can fly. I can't fly. No, it's okay. We're not.
I
Gonna
can't
get
fly
there.
right now.
Exactly.
He chooses his moments.
It's all right. So let's go. We first come across
The very first Easter egg in the whole movie. We
No.
get right into the Urso household, and what are they drinking?
Blue milk.
God,
Well, they're not drinking it. It's like
Well, it's in a
the
little thing.
camera shot is coming off.
sitting on the
sexy
table.
light.
I was like, oh, okay, this is the movie we're going to see.
So
All
it's
right.
not just a thing on Tatooine.
Yeah.
It's galaxy wide. Blue milk is the thing.
Blue milk.
Gotta love the blue milk.
And
And it's always on the poor planets, if you'll notice.
Right,
that.
right.
It's like they're Yoo-hoo.
Yeah,
Blue-hoo.
love it.
that's it. You got to copyright that.
Yeah.
Blue Who. I like that.
Yeah, and then the ship lands, and it's Krennic, and Urso basically gets the bug out signal. It's like, okay, we gotta go.
So
And then Krennic lands and goes, yes, but let's land way the fuck away.
That's what I was just about to say.
And let's just, so we can have a really awesome walking up to
Dramatic
the place.
walk up to the-
Exactly.
I was
I get the
just
feeling
about
that's
to
the
say
most,
that.
that is the most that Krennic has walked in like decades. Like, well, let's just go back a couple of clicks and then we'll slowly walk there. Give them time to hide and run for dramatic effect. I'm like,
Well, if you think strategically, it gives them the opportunity to not be ambushed. They kind of remove, by coming in close to the homestead, there's less place for them to hide. It's an open field.
yeah, it may have been military strategy. Like if we land right next to it, they can just pop out of poo.
I think it was more cinematography. But yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Krennic
And
is
of
so
course-
vain.
Right.
He's so vain. Like they enter the planet. They say, "Oh, is it windy? Oh yeah, it's
I got
windy.
this motherfucking
I got this cape,
and I'm gonna rock this cape, man.
I love Krennic. I love everything about Krennic. I love the Empire in this film altogether.
We'll get to some of my favorite Krennic scenes. 'Cause, oh, Krennic, he's a guy. And of course, for people who are if this is their first Star Wars film, because there could be like a little
Absolutely,
8-year-old
yeah.
kid, But for those of us who are not, you knew what that ship was as soon as you saw it. Like, yep, that's an Imperial shuttle, and something bad is going to happen to somebody. Because the Empire doesn't drop by for tea and go thanks and then leave. They're on business.
Well, then we get to the second Easter egg. We get introduced. They get a call from Forrest Whitaker's character, Saw Gerrera. Now,
That's a Rebels thing, right?
that's a Clone
Clone
Wars
Wars
thing.
thing. Clone
Yeah,
Wars.
I just rewatched those episodes. It's the first, I want to say, 5 episodes of season 4, and the character of Saw Gerrera is there. Now, here's the thing you got to realize when you're watching Forrest Whitaker. He was trained to fight by Vader, Kenobi, and Fulcrum, by Ahsoka. So that's why he's kind of such a badass. he becomes a terrorist. So this is stuff like you don't need to know,
Right.
but if you know,
But if you know it, it's
if you know
nice.
it, it's pretty badass. And they're bringing him into Rebels
Yes.
next season.
Yes.
Or next week, I think, as a matter of fact.
Are they going to get Forrest Whitaker to do the voice?
Yes, they did.
Nice.
They did. Disney is doing it really, really well with that.
Do we know who did the voice before though?
Yeah, I can't remember who
Tim?
it was. Tim.
Tim. You know, Tim. Yeah, I didn't like Forrest Whitaker's character.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Didn't care for it. There's more there, and I know there's more shot, obviously.
Well, yeah.
I don't think they let us.
Just because there's more in the damn trailer that didn't make the film.
Right.
you know.
We'll address that at a certain point because
just it's. I mean, obviously, the character itself needed. It's a vital plot point. It's a vital thing to get the story. The whole first quarter of the film revolves around that character. People trying to get to, away from, whatever that character. I didn't care for Forrest Whitaker's performance in that. Just not.
it was a choice for sure.
Yeah, and it didn't ruin the film for me. I was just like, could take it or leave
I don't
it.
think they gave him enough time
I agree.
Well,
to elaborate.
The thing is
the
that
character.
Yeah, I mean, they could have turned Rogue One into 3 hours 10 minutes, and exhibitors, they want to get that extra showing a day in. So once you start crossing the 2.5 hour mark, we want more money per showing. It's all about negotiating with the studio for how much money they're gonna pay the studio for. Yeah, exactly. Which is why you don't see a 3 hour film run for 2 months in the theaters, no matter how popular it is, because they're not making as much money. They're not churning people at the concession stands as often.
They had another 17 minutes.
There's another 17 minutes of film.
I'm just saying, it was 2:13. They had another 17 minutes.
Yeah,
to
they
get
could have done it.
2.5.
They could have got more. Son of a bitch. Anyway, so we get we'll just kind of brush along the plot so we keep up with her. So the wife goes into hiding. The girl supposed to go into hiding. He goes out to meet Krennic, and I'm a feeble old. This is what was his first name? Galen or so. Galen or so. Which is strange because we both have a friend named
Galen, yeah.
And she's like a cute girl.
Yeah.
And this is like I'm a.
She's Mary Poppins.
Yeah, she literally was Mary Poppins, and he tries to. I don't know what he was trying to pull. Like, oh, you're feeble-minded now. Sorry, we'll leave.
I'm all sad my wife has died, and
yeah, exactly. Tries to pull that, and then of course the wife shows up and pulls a gun, which I thought was dumb as fuck.
That was my favorite Krennic line. Oh, there she is, back from the dead.
Yes, exactly. And of course, Jyn has decided to. You know what? I think I'm going to turn around and see what goes on, and so she can watch her mother die and her father. The casting of the little girl. It's like a clone of was it Felicity Jones?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we looked up the credits and it was like her younger sister or something.
okay.
I mean, the casting was spot on. The accent, the kind of mouthy toothiness a bit. Not quite as much as Rey. Rey in Force Awakens. Man, those are some teeth.
I'd give Felicity she's got bigger teeth.
Bigger teeth?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very, very toothy. I kind of dug that careful little rock portal thing where you just flip it up and drop down to the thing. I like that.
A lot of the buzz on the internet is that the crystal that her mom gives her is a kyber crystal, which is what powers the Death Star, but power is in Jedi lightsabers. And so there's all this talk about is her mom, or was she a Jedi, or was she not a Jedi, or just speculation.
Well, she was Force appreciative for sure.
Yes, exactly.
lots of speculation, but I mean, she had to know what Galen did, with all of the.
Well, she was
his
on
work.
Coruscant before we get there, but she was there with him.
That's true. They all were together.
Right, and the plans for the Death Star has been going on for years.
Yeah.
So I just feel like she just knows what he does,
Right.
And he brought her home some piece of it at some point.
That's also
Yeah,
That's what I'm
I
thinking.
didn't get the sense that all of a sudden she's gonna plug it into something like, and now I'm a powerful, you
No,
know.
it
Grow it
makes
into
more
an
sense.
ice field and have it grow into a fortress of solitude.
Oh,
But she did. I mean, when she ties it around her neck, the mother ties it around Jen's neck. She says, trust in the Force.
Yeah.
So there's a reference to the crystal and the Force. There's some awareness there.
Yep.
right. Well, obviously, Galen must have either independently or through his wife, or knew about the power of kyber crystals, because that was the whole basis in which the Death Star was.
The super laser.
you
Yeah.
know, the step up their main reactor power input. What? No, that's a
Wrong
different
movie.
film. Wrong film. Anyway, I like how in this film you understand it's like. Single. What was it? Single engine targeting, or it was
Single-
like
Single
yeah.
reactor.
single
yeah.
reactor target. Like, you mean it gets more fucked up than that?
Well, I think.
Well, I guess so, because
Well,
like,
you
you just take out
you
a
could blow
little
up a
section
city
of
or
the
the
planet,
whole planet.
and then the entire planet of Alderaan. It's like, let's bring them all online.
Well, then the technology exists that when they get to Force Awakens, they take out an entire star system.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, with sentient energy that goes, no, we're gonna bypass here, and we're gonna weave around and split because
The Force.
the
Goes
force.
Force.
Because
It
the
shoots
Force.
midi-chlorians. That's what it does.
Oh, midi chlorians. You brought it up.
George, stop.
Don't say the M word.
You have heard that that he has been tapped to direct the sequel to Rogue One. Unfortunately, we have to wait until 1977 to see it.
Medication time. Medication.
Well played. Yes. Well done.
This time I had my medication before we recorded. Anyway, she goes down the hole and totally.
Then Saw picks her up, and then we skip 15 years, pretty much.
Yeah, something like that. Because I would say she's anywhere between 21 and 25.
Something
in
like that,
film,
yeah.
something like that.
My-
Which actually makes sense time-wise. The father ages, working on the plans for the Death Star. Because someone did a calculation, the amount of material and the amount of people and energy and money it would take to actually create the Death Star was something in the trillions or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but someone actually did the, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson go, well, Thor's hammer would require this much, and someone did that. And like, wow, that galaxy far, far away has a lot of raw material to build. And I don't know if you've noticed in a lot of shots in Rogue One when the Death Star was there, they made a point of showing, look at that Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
It's like a little ant next to the Death Star. They showed that on many occasions where you didn't quite get that in the other films.
It almost looked like a Lego build. In one of the scenes, it got a real close, real sexy macro shot almost. It almost looked like a Lego build.
Are you talking about the Star Destroyer? Or?
Yeah, what they do.
Well, the very
yeah.
first shot where the
light comes across.
The light comes across. I'm going, that looks a little. And,
Well, in that shot, there's like 2 or 3 of them in
Yeah.
that space. So, and they're just like.
And there's a huge difference if you see it in 2D and 3D, which I saw both aspects.
As well
The 2D looks like a model. The special effects are not as
Really?
Yeah, to me, it
I
like
guess that's why I say it looked like a
It looked like Legos.
Lego
It does
build.
look like a build.
I saw it in 3D
And
I
I
saw
saw
it
it-
on IMAX.
3D IMAX. It fleshed out. It
Wow. Okay.
where it
expressed
really
itself
looked like
better.
a model. We'll skip ahead for a hot second for the purpose of this comment.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, when the two Star Destroyers hit each other, the moment they hit, I'm looking at that movement like, those are definitely models. But that thought went away immediately as I saw one Star Destroyer shear the top off another. I was like, yeah! But anyway. Okay. I've been talking too much. You pick it up.
All right. So we jump to her rescue, or her pickup. I don't know what that was.
Well, she
That
was...
Juggernaut tank, whatever that is.
What?
We meet the adult in prison with old calamari face, but not calamari face.
Right.
Some other race.
Oh wait, do we skip to? No, we skip to the first
Well,
scene with Cassidy.
speaking of the Juggernaut tank, that's another Easter egg. Coming
right.
from Revenge of the Sith, right? And
Does it come from that?
It's
Well,
from
that in
something.
Clone Wars, I would
Yeah.
say.
What are you talking about?
the tank that she was in, that they were transporting her
the prison
is that
transport.
vehicle.
I might be incorrect, but I thought it was one of the transports that say we're loading Wookiees in at the end of Revenge of the
Maybe,
Sith.
maybe.
And it was also part of the battle, and then it pops up.
They
in Clone
probably
Wars.
put it in Clone Wars after that. Yeah. So I'm loving that they're doing all that stuff. But either I can't remember if it was the first scene with Cassian or the first scene with her, but I loved that scene with her because they shut down that tank, they bust in. They're like, "Do you want to get out of here?" She just kind of nods her head. They take the shackles off. She doesn't care who they are. She's just gone. She's like, I'm not waiting for you to rescue me. I'm out of here. And then K2.
But is she?
And then K2, knocks her down.
You are being rescued.
Congratulations.
I liked him.
Fucking Alan Tudyk.
He
Fucking Alan Tudyk.
K2 had the I want to say the sass of R2 with the rational, a little bit manicness, just a touch of C-3PO.
Yeah.
I made that argument as well after seeing the first time. They were a complete, composite of the two.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
It worked out very nicely, and
He said, I heard an interview with Alan Tudyk. He said he got to improv some of those lines, and watching him, because he was all performance capture. I could totally see him doing the, I really, really don't agree. Like the way he
It's
did
high.
Yeah,
It's really high.
Do you want to know the odds of her?
really high.
Do you want to know the odds of her using that weapon on you?
I mean, the animators.
I was waiting for
and the
Cassius to go. Never tell me the odds.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to think, and this is probably deep, but I like to think, because he was talking about when he was doing Firefly, there was always a switch up here that he would hit. That was the magic, Serenity switch, and he does that. He does that while flying the shuttle. K2 is doing the stuff, and he reaches up and touches. I was like, I wonder if he did that on purpose.
I think there's a couple of things he did. That, and then also just flying the ship as well. Because as,
Yeah.
as a robot, as an Imperial robot, a combat robot, I forget what they call them.
yeah.
But that's not their job.
Imperial-
interrogation droid. That's what it is.
No,
Was it
no, that's Dr. Ball.
Dr. Ball?
Yeah, the little
But no, they said he was an Imperial droid. They didn't really say what kind he was,
Right.
did they? I don't think
They
did.
may have. But you're
They
absolutely right.
they called him target practice later on, and things of that nature. But when you see the other droids walking around, they're not pilots.
Yeah.
They're not pilot droids. So I think that might have been a Tudyk thing. Like, hey, make me a pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're reprogramming me, why don't I do some piloting?
Why am I not Wash?
Yeah, exactly. Because I am Wash.
I'm like a robot on the wind.
And then,
Something.
well, and then we got to that marketplace, and then with Cassian and his informant.
Yeah,
Okay.
that whole scene there
I didn't.
really made me think of Middle Eastern terrorism, because a lot of the people were dressed kind of in what you would consider stereotypical Middle Eastern garb, with the long flowing and the head stuff, and it just
But
really.
they're also on a hot planet, desert-like
Oh, of
planet.
course.
So it's explained, more easily explained.
Oh yeah, it's not like we're just going to arbitrarily dress them like that.
Well,
It's-
I mean, on Tatooine they were like that.
You're
as
talking
well.
about though where he gets the information
Yeah.
on Saw and
and on
Galen.
and on the Death Star, that there is a Death Star.
there's a
though.
pilot. Well, there's a pilot, and he's got information. Galen, he says he comes from Galen Urso.
and he just takes that guy out.
But they had a nice, battle scene in there, which I really enjoyed. Because this is when, in the marketplace, this is when you meet, I can't remember their names, our favorite lovable
Yes.
gay couple.
The Force. Oh, what?
Oh, Dr. Evasion and Ponda Baba?
Sure.
No, you're talking.
No, you're talking about the Force is with me and I'm with the Force.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, yeah.
The
yeah.
two
Oh,
Asian
you're
characters.
talking
I'm
about
talking
the
about he
Easter.
doesn't like you.
Oh,
yeah.
Bomb. Oh, yeah. No, the Easter egg, which I thought
Chewit.
was.
Chewit Imwe and Baze.
Sure, it's got,
like one name, Blaine.
Gotta
Baze.
talk into the microphone or we can't hear you.
Sorry, I was going for my phone to look up the names, but Chirrut is one, and then
Chewit
the other
Imwe
is like
and, Baze Malbus? Baze, yeah, I think that's what it is.
We're notorious on this podcast for not really knowing shit, and we just talk straight out of our ass.
It's Donnie Yen and I can't remember.
It's
the name.
Donnie and Marie Osmond
No.
together.
She with Imwe
Yeah.
and Baze Malbus.
Yeah.
There you go. Those two. The I'm one with the Force of the Forces. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that fight scene, I like that. Mm-hmm. That's the first time we've seen more martial arts rather than samurai sword fighting.
True.
In a Star Wars film that I can recall. And it's usually been pew 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 blasters or
lightsaber. Yeah.
Lightsaber.
And why does wood affect stormtroopers so much?
Because they're okay. I have a theory about this.
I mean, he's got force with the martial arts and all, but
the stormtrooper armor is not armor.
it's just plastic.
It's an intimidation technique.
Yeah.
Everyone looks the same, so you don't know if
one is strong versus not being strong.
You can't look like I could take that guy. You don't know. The guy in there could, actually be
just made to look scary.
Be a 100-pound weakling, or could be beefy or whatever. They all kind of blend together because we know that armor don't do shit. I mean, literally, you could punch him in the chest and he just cracks everything. Name one time armor has saved a stormtrooper ever. No, never.
No.
I'm sure the guy that bumped his head in A New Hope probably has permanent brain damage because that damn helmet can't do shit. Anyway.
Yeah, well, that scene was really interesting, too, because, again, you see Cassian, like, he's going to get his position exposed, and he takes a guy out before he's about to blow up the transport of the Imperials. It's like, interesting.
Well, I thought he took that guy out because he knew he was about to do a bomb. He falls down, and that helps with... I don't think he killed... He killed Saw's guy.
My original thought was that Jin was there.
Right, he's saving Jin.
Yeah, that's what
because his mission is to get to Saw to get to Galen.
Right.
And so he doesn't care about anybody but Jin.
Yeah,
right.
That totally makes sense. Because she was right in front of the tank, so if that guy takes the tank out, she's out.
Yep.
Yep.
So that scene was pretty interesting. What was do we have a name for the creepy looking?
Oh, Balgullet.
Is that the guy?
No, you talking about the
Saul Guerrera's main guy?
Bulgullet.
The
guy that looks a little Tusken Raider.
Oh, that guy.
It looks like what's his name from Mad Max?
Yes, exactly. Shiny and chrome, but he doesn't talk. He never says a word.
It's interesting that you say that too, because I was thinking, are they related to the Sand People? Are they Tusken Raiders without the mask on another planet? They don't wear the tribal on this planet because he certainly fits. When you say Tusken Raider, I mean that's exactly what came to mind for me.
And then there's the big white Wookiee looking thing.
Oh, which not enough with that.
Not of that, yeah.
That would
with the big giant gun. Come on.
And we get to go. Then we get to see. Let's go back to Pat Obama there. Nice. We get to he's wanted on. He's got the death sentence on 12 systems.
Well, 11 now.
Systems?
11 now, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's he travels around. At first I went, why the fuck would he be? Oh yeah, because. All right, that makes sense. It's a trading post, Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
So maybe he was just in,
Well, no, my joke was, cut to them on the ship getting off the planet. It's like, whoo, lucky nothing bad happened to us back there. Let's go get a drink.
Let's go get a drink.
Nothing bad can happen to us there.
That was back before his architectural career was cut short.
Right.
Just watch Robot Chicken.
George has a weird arm fetish.
Well, Tarantino has a foot fetish, so everyone's got their thing. So then we finally get to
Saw.
We get to him. Yeah, whatever. I already said a character I don't care about.
Okay.
I mean, he's important. And of course, when he got the mask on, I immediately went to I need a Pabst Blue Ribbon. Don't look at me. Shades of Blue Velvet.
I just want to know what's happened to him in between, Clone Wars and.
Well, yeah, because you look, his feet are
gone.
metal. I mean,
he's gone.
He is obviously fucked up.
He's a good guy, Vader.
Yeah.
Well, Vader.
That's the question too. I think he lands in the middle. I think he's the neutral party in all of it as far as
because he'll do Vadery stuff for good.
Yeah, that's
but some because the good guy's like, oh no, we would never destroy that entire city for this small purpose, and he might go, no, I'll totally destroy the city for this purpose.
Well, he was too extreme for the rebellion, which is that's hardcore.
Oh, you're talking about my girl now. You just chill about my girl.
We'll get to her.
There's nothing like a 70s bowl cut that just gets me going. All right, so continue the story.
Yeah, we finally get to the big head scratcher was with the big squid in there.
That's what I was trying to say.
Tentacles
and
Oh, is that okay? Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Right.
That was the entire
I wrote a note saying if Saw Gerrera doesn't trust the pilot with the plan, with whatever he's coming to tell him, and he's like, okay, well, Bull Gullet, and he says while the squid is kind of wrapping the tentacles around him, he says that he will find the truth, but one tends to lose one's mind.
Yeah.
In the process. So I'm like, okay, cool. He's gonna find the truth, but yet when Jen and them show up, he still doesn't believe what he might know already.
He's gone off the edge. He's definitely gone. He's definitely off the reservation.
And see, that's a strategic problem there. Using that, that guy's a Imperial shuttle pilot. Okay, you might get that one piece of information, but this guy could be useful. And luckily, it didn't scramble his brain completely because he did prove useful later on.
He came up with the name.
Exactly. Yeah. Eventually, I'm sitting there
named
going,
the film.
Come on, keep going. You're almost there. Rogue One. Like, okay. But I mean, imagine what would have happened if the what's his name, Squiddy Boy,
Bull Gullet.
Oh, Bull Gullet.
Bull Gullet had scrambled his brain. That would have made things really messed up on Scarif now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have even gotten the Scarif because they wouldn't have even gotten to
No, they would have.
There was a lot, and this is my problem with Saw. There was a lot of character development for him. There was a lot of time spent with the Bull Gullet, with his team bringing the pilot in. I can't remember his name. Just all the mistrust, all of the craziness, but to no end. I mean, they spent all this time on Saw, like creating, but what was his purpose at the end? At the end of it,
And why does he just give up? Like
the purpose was
the
purpose was the message,
right?
Yeah,
but
the
I mean,
purpose was the
why?
message.
But why go through all of that and show and create this character, this Jabba the Hutt almost?
because they had to have that message display to Jen and to Saul, but nobody else, so that later there
Good
could
call.
be.
That's a great explanation.
It's, now of course it could have been done in any number of ways that didn't involve
No, but
metal
that-
feet
but that
and
makes
huffing on
sense.
your canister or whatever the hell he was
that,
huffing on.
that does make sense, and it plays big later in.
Yeah,
in the,
it's important.
because they're now they just have to trust her that she's seen this message.
Exactly.
No one
I
else
really
saw.
didn't pick up on all that. I was just like, because I did like the Saw character, and I liked what they said with him, but
Right.
I thought that it was wasted time. But what you've said right there
Right.
does.
I mean, and maybe they wanted to put it in there because we're gonna, we're gonna amp him up more in was it Rebels, Clone Wars,
Rebels,
whatever.
yeah.
I need to start watching.
But
that
that's
stuff.
before this, actually.
Right. But I mean, raise his profile.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, I like to think that Kathleen Kennedy or somebody there at Lucasfilm is Feigeing this whole thing, going, all right,
They're definitely
we're doing
paying
this.
attention.
We're paying.
I remember hearing an interview with Dave Filoni, the guy who does Rebels, and he was talking about even before that premiered, like, yeah, we're kind of paying it. We don't know what's going to happen in Force Awakens, but they're keeping us on the same page, and so they are all kind of working together,
all right.
which is.
Because they could
cool.
synergy the hell out of the Star Wars universe, no problem.
Well, they're trying to. They're just bringing in what they have. The few. We'll get to some. There's some really amazing Easter eggs if you know the other stuff. Just bringing in Saw first of all. Just acknowledging a character that was created on the cartoon.
And you know what? And maybe in the first treatment, they didn't know what they're going to like. Here, we need to have this happen. How can we make that happen? Let's bring in Saul into this and do this, and who knows how the story was built for Rogue One.
Now, did you? Because you're way up on that. Did you catch? I thought the second time I saw it that they mentioned something about Saw's sister.
No.
I thought I heard them say something about his sister, and I'm like, that's a whole thing that's in the
sister.
Yeah. Well, his sister dies in Clone Wars spoilers like that, and that's kind of, I'm wondering if that kind of pushed him farther. But I didn't catch it the first time, and the second time I thought I heard one of his guys say
something pushed him over the edge.
Well,
Yeah.
too bad, Dan. None of us will ever see that film again.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice, and that's it. I'm done.
it's gone. Yeah.
I didn't get the Regal Crown Club $100 ticket that I can go every single time.
I'm starting to
June
regret
15th.
that.
Yeah.
Because
I didn't get that. No,
$15 a pop. I'm doing the math. Going, yeah, I could totally.
I spent that already. I should have just bought that in the first place.
Yeah. So, where were we?
Well,
interrogation.
Show
the video. We got to see Hannibal Lecter. Gail Urso. Galen Urso.
Well, before we get to that, that's when we transition to the Death Star.
And we get
to
what? That bald spot looks familiar.
I thought, because everyone when the movie was coming up, everyone was like, Vader's got to be in it, Vader's got to be in it, Vader's got to be in it. And then I was like, what about Tarkin? How are they going to do that? I thought, like, when I saw that shot, I saw him from the back, you saw the reflection, I thought he'll kind of turn around and he'll kind of be out of frame and we'll hear him and this will be it and that's it. I didn't know he was going to be the main bad guy in the whole movie.
Yeah.
4 times as much time.
All right, so there's 4 people in this room. How many people going into that film knew that they had done the motion capture?
Not at all.
CGI.
Nope. No.
I purposely made sure not to know.
Well, that's.
I don't think that info got out.
That was a wonderful surprise.
I had no clue. It seems like everyone else knew. In talking about this film afterwards, it seemed there had been articles about Peter Cushing.
Like Dan is saying, with all the hubbub of coming up with the film and everybody's talking about the film, it's like, well, how are they going to do Tarkin? So people might have thought he's going to be in it somehow, and now we see how.
These
it's
people,
amazing.
These people evidently knew that he was in the film. They didn't know to what extent.
I'm glad I didn't.
Well, it's possible it was widely talked about. It's just I ignored it.
I'm thrilled I didn't know. That's basically what I would.
Yeah, exactly.
The more screen time, I was like, I can't believe you're doing this.
Yeah.
And the first couple shots, it's not real, so it's a little video gamey, but still,
I didn't care.
I didn't care either.
I put this to you: if you did not know that Peter Cushing was dead, if you were a 10-year-old kid and this is you're just watching it, I chat something's wrong. I think it would just go by.
Yeah,
because I knew it was CGI. I could see little things were but for the most part,
well, K2 is CGI too, so it just it's the same thing.
But it's one thing to
have
something
to do metal
from scratch and to make you
one thing
believe
to
it's
do metal.
Yeah,
and then
that uncanny valley. You got to straddle the rim of the valley there before you get too creepy.
But
that's what she said.
But that
space giggity.
But seeing the development of how much of a cocksucker Tarkin really was.
He was my favorite character in the film.
Oh yes,
unbelievable.
He was
unbelievable.
And him and his little pissing match with Krennic
was hilarious.
Was lovely.
Was hilarious.
Now, have you heard that that Peter Cushing's private secretary, who worked for him for 35 years, saw the film and literally just it took her back. It's
really?
Oh my God. It provoked a visceral response in her, they got him.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, I can't remember you can probably look it up, the guy that did the motion capture also did the voice. He does a perfect Tarkin. I remember hearing that in
it's funny, I haven't looked that up yet.
And there had to be overlays, like when they did Superman and they would overlay Christopher Reeve's voice in certain portions with the new Superman in was it Returns, which was the really terrible one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I there had to be overlays. They certainly towards the end stole some audio directly.
You think?
Oh no, I don't think so.
You don't think that You May Fire When Ready came?
No. Oh no.
I think that guy just did it.
He did it because that's the way he would say it. No, I think all the Tarkin dialogue is 100% new.
I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out.
We'll dial into
Guy
it.
Henry. Okay.
Guy Henry.
And he's not a voice actor that I've heard of. And I'm a.
Does he have
my guess?
He's best known for
a motion capture.
He's best known for Harry Potter
as an actor or as motion capture.
He performed motion capture.
Yeah,
guess he's Dobby.
and I think
And voice as well.
Yeah, and I think it just happened that he did a perfect Tarkin, and they said, "Fine, you're Tarkin."
Yeah, it kind of helps that Tarkin's not the most expressive person ever. You know, he's pretty straight on, so it makes it a lot easier.
And of course, the part where they panned down and Tarkin was wearing bunny slippers, I thought that was yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the legend is that Peter Cushing hated the boots.
He hated those
So
jack
that any
boots.
shots,
Yes.
he's walking around in slippers.
Yeah, yeah. Looking. A New Hope. You will never see him below the knee, and not probably even below mid groin.
It's better than Marlon Brando, who wears no pants at all.
Oh dear.
You don't know that? Yeah,
That I hadn't
yeah,
heard, no.
yeah. Watch for him in his later films. He did not like to wear pants, so they're all chest up. They're close quarter, face to face. A lot of sitting down at tables and chairs.
Interesting.
I'm 400 pounds. I don't wear pants, and I demand 15 million a film because I'm Marlon Brando.
15 million a line.
Yeah, I was the Godfather. God damn it. Anyway, okay, so we're on the
Death Star.
We're on the Death
Death
Star,
Star.
and
Where Tarkin wants to call for some kind of test.
Some kind of test.
I think a test is in order.
yeah, what did they target?
Jeddah City.
Yeah, that was
Jeddah
the
City.
the nemesis was Jeddah City. So back on because they at this point they're bouncing back and forth between Jeddah Death Star,
Right.
and they've gone through their Jen and Saul have seen the
message.
the message. You know, I've put a flaw, and this was the speculation that everyone had that the flaw was put in there on purpose, and it was.
Yeah. Yeah, why else would it be? It just makes it so much better. Like that it wasn't just a random thing they found, you know, in
Right.
4 hours of having the plan.
We could fix it if money's no option. Get estimates.
Yeah.
Family Guy.
Call in
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Family Guy. It's like, can't just nail a piece of wood over that.
Right.
It's like exhaust port.
Now, do you guys know, is Jeddah like the Jedi homeworld?
I'm glad you went back to
Ah.
it. So it's the Jedi. Go ahead.
Oh no,
Good.
the statue on
Yes.
its
Right.
side.
Yes. The
With
statue on its
with a
side.
stone, you know.
The ancient temple, the protectors, what do they
The
call them?
Guardians of the Wills.
The Guardians of the Wills, which goes back into
Creepy, man.
the original film.
Well, it goes into the original screenplay.
Right.
Yes.
Is what it was, because it was originally...
Well, it was going to be Wookiees, and then it was going to be to tell the story of the Skywalkers.
Right.
It was going to be
Or the story of the Star Killers. Until
The
they
Star
changed
Killers.
it.
Star
yeah.
Killers, and it was going to be Wookiees, and then it was like, all right, that's silly, but there was going to be a narrator for the films, and it was going to be the Guardians of the Will, almost like Bilbo in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I've heard...
Well, I mean, Jeddah is where we get the Kyber crystal, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Temple, Kyber crystal,
Jedi.
Yeah, so-
and I read a thing where even George said that the crawls are the journal entries to the wills, and
Jedi's log, stardate.
and supposedly it was R2 keeping the journal.
That is a brilliant idea. Let me interrupt. Getting William Shatner to read the crawls as Captain Kirk and the captain's log would be that
period of civil war.
That would be the next viral sensation.
Fantastic.
Galactic Empire.
I'm
Yeah, so yeah, that's a good. Well, apparently, a lot of this information that's only glinted at or not even explained at all is in. I think it's called Star Wars World's Visual Guide. Because there's a lot of stuff like.
there's a ton of the books.
But there's stuff that's canon that's officially approved. Like
Okay.
the big question from Force Awakens, like, all right, so they're using the same outfits, so I'm guessing that the First Order is kind of an offshoot or remnants, or what happened there? Well, apparently it's all explained.
There are books. I just started reading a book called Aftermath, and it's a canon Disney book, and it's a novel, takes place right after Return of the Jedi. So they are building that world in between. Yeah. There's like a whole timeline thing, like in the books that they're slowly adding stuff to.
Does the book explain how high up on the charts Jub was?
Not yet.
I say it went to number 1
with a bullet.
with a bullet, with a phaser blast.
All right, Jeddah City gets taken out. They commence primary ignition, and they stand on just a handrail. That's all we want. It's just a handrail. Just a handrail.
You gotta admit, I mean, there's a guy standing there. He can light a cigarette off the beam. I'm like, this must have. I don't understand
Does
the
the beam
physics
not
of
have
it.
any heat?
Right, exactly.
And, like, we're gonna destroy a planet, but I can watch it go by 3 feet from my face, and I'm totally fine.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
It's the beetle helmets that somehow protects you. The little shiny.
And the 2 times that they fired the weapon, I feel like they used the same shot to press the buttons. It's like doop doop boop.
They absolutely recreated.
Yeah.
I mean,
They must have dug out that original video switcher that was the.
Oh yeah, I mean the sound, everything was exactly.
Well, it
same
had
way,
to be.
Same
Why
way they
wouldn't it be?
matched the Tantive 4 at the end. It's like, oh my god! Could you imagine? Like, please just keep that set intact. Put it somewhere where we can go visit. I mean, literally, could you imagine walking that hallway?
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Speaking of using original footage, in the dogfight at the end,
Yes.
there's 2 X-wing fighters that it is the original footage.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they mastered it obviously,
But it's unused footage
It's unused
from-
footage. It's the actual from the original.
Yeah. Did you know?
I
Get
don't know
set
which
up
one.
for your attack run. Switch scene. On the
Well, it's red leader and gold leader.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah, that's what it is.
the kind of southern hit guy.
Yeah.
Get set up for your attack run on the dish, or on the generator, or whatever the hell he was trying to hit.
And this
there.
is just between Matt and me. Gold leader looks like John Hopkins to me.
Oh.
from Zach Brown.
but that was nice seeing them.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
Jeddah City gets blown up.
Yeah. Now, I got a whole bunch of stuff to think about this. Okay. First of all, Kyber crystal. I mean,
Focuses energy.
no. As they're approaching the city, when we first get there, they're still hauling Kyber crystal out.
Yeah.
So it must be plentiful on every other planet because you're blowing up the only source, apparently.
It might be all over the planet, though. Might not just
Yeah,
be
they
in
were
the
only
city.
blowing up the city.
They blew up a large. I think they blew up a quarter of the planet the way that thing looked.
Yeah, I mean, they.
Well,
They don't
they were
fucking know.
finished. It worked.
I guess so. Yeah, obviously.
And
they had
also
the
maybe
bow.
they've dug up enough.
Yeah,
that
they
they
might
have
have.
enough to do.
Right.
And there is
who's
a
to say-
passing comment where we've evacuated, our fleet.
That's right. They do that.
Right.
They
Right.
that destroyer
Now-
takes
And
off.
And who's to say how much Kyber crystal takes to do one?
I'm just
one
wondering
firing
how
of it.
plentiful it is on the planet and in the galaxy. If you can just indiscriminately.
Well, it's definitely on
vaporize.
different. Well, it's definitely on different planets too. Because
Is it? Do
Yeah.
we know that?
Yeah. Because
I don't know that.
Well,
I thought it was only on this one ice world from Clone Wars.
Yeah, Clone Wars. They
because
go
the little baby the
they have,
Padawans.
Yep, they have to go and build their lightsabers.
I thought it was
And-
only on
Okay.
this one
Alright.
planet. I thought it was only that planet.
Oh, I don't know.
Obviously, I'm in the dark, having not watched Clone Wars, or we went and saw the film one they released.
Right.
Right.
They just strung 3 episodes together.
It got
called
better
it a film.
after that. Yeah.
Okay.
It got a lot better after that.
So there's that. Then there's Saul Guerrera just going, "Yep, I'm just gonna go ahead and die now."
Yeah, I didn't get
And,
that.
and
But he also, the way, they did a little zoom up on his feet. He could not have been running with them.
right. Well, obviously, yeah. I would think that there'd be some way. I mean, okay. So that's where he dies. I just thought he just gave it up a little bit too.
A little too easy.
Too easy.
I agree.
But here's the big thing. Okay. Target Jeddah City. Hey, wouldn't it be more cinematic and dramatic if I targeted, 50 miles away and then let the ripples take out the city? Yes, let's do that. You may fire when ready.
No,
We
they
don't-
hit
they hit the city.
They were
50 miles away.
Like Saw's.
They did
Saw's
that.
That's
Scarif.
right, because the
They did
target
that in
was the
Scarif.
city,
Yep.
and okay.
the shock.
They did that
Then
same
let's
what
then
you're
let's
saying in Scarif.
then they did that in Scarif.
But in Scarif,
Yeah.
fast forwarding to the later,
Spoilers.
the laser
little
hit
late.
the dish.
No, the laser,
laser hit the dish
The laser
and-
hit Krennic. The laser hit Krennic, which is we're jumping ahead to my favorite part of the film.
Okay,
he looks
do
up
it.
and is
Go.
like-
Yeah, because here's my favorite character in the film, killing his most hated nemesis with the most powerful weapon ever created.
That he created.
That he
created. That he stole it.
He has a plan to kill her, and he basically crushes a fly with a crane.
Yeah.
The best scene, in my opinion, in the entire film, this is, of course, skipping ahead, is Krennic waking up, looking up, and there was the Death Star on the horizon. He's
pointed down, not even on the horizon. It's pointed down.
He's like, oh, motherfucker.
I know what's going to happen now.
And I get to die now. Hey, we didn't run out of time, but Mon Mothra is about to battle Godzilla, and we got to check that out. We'll play part 2 next week.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Beni Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Prawn Brothers, and LexCorp. Legal counsel by the offices of Howard, and Fine. We love you. We know. Our intro music was written by Tim Akers. This podcast was sponsored by Deep Shag Records and is a production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Check us out on DazGarageRadio.net. Listen, watch on YouTube. Listen on SoundCloud. Stream us on Stitcher. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Or email us, comlink@billionpod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
It's been a pleasure to be Matt Jones.
And I'm Paul McPherson.
I'm Michael Reed.
LOZ!
Audio Primate.